I'm going to let you in on a secret. The secret of how you can fail your agency guaranteed. And you're probably, most likely, guilty of this. So if I was you, I would watch this video until the very, 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 very last second to understand what you're doing right now that makes you fail long term. And I'm also going to show you how you can reverse that and actually win. So if you watch this video here, that means you're also going to know how you can win guaranteed, how you can scale your agency guaranteed. So I'll watch it till the end. So the easiest way to fail is to try something for like 6 months, set a very, very high expectations, fail to reach them, and then say, hey, this shit's not working. And then pivot either inside of your agency, for example, pivot to another niche, pivot your service, or just pivot in general. Maybe you start dropshipping or something else. I don't know. Or you might just give up. I don't know. But basically try something for 6 months. Giving up is less likely, honestly. But pivoting is more likely. But even if you keep pivoting, that means you're still going to be failing long term because you're not doing anything. Like, you're not really moving forward. You're always starting from zero whenever you are pivoting. First of all, I need to tell you this before I get into all the rest. I'm going to drop some crazy value towards the end, okay? But before I even get into all that, this is one of the hardest things you will ever have to do. And by this, I mean starting and scaling, growing and sustaining your agency. It's actually tough. Like, it's not easy. You will be questioning yourself. Like, you will be thinking, fuck, bro, is all of this shit really worth it? And the answer is yes. Fuck yes, it is. You just gotta stick through it. And it's the hardest part. But I can tell you how I got through it and how I think you can win in any case if you just do this. So first off, you gotta focus. Focus on one thing and one thing only for a very long time. No pivots, no changes. Stick to it, brother. And the second thing is, and this is very important, is that in that time where you do put in the work, you actually focus on the things that matter, because most people don't. Like when I talk to people all day that want to scale their agencies. And I always ask, like, what's your goal? Say like 5K, 10, 15, 20, 30, hell, even 50K a month. That's solid. And then I ask, all right, so what's your plan to get there? They don't. They say, I have no idea. Or some of them say, just send more outreach. Brother, you're definitely not going to scale a 50K a month with outreach. You don't have a plan. And that is one of the most mind-boggling things to me. You set very high expectations. You set high goals, which I'm not against at all. Okay? You should set high goals. But then when you look at the things that you're actually doing, they won't really lead to that goal. Like, no matter how long you are doing that. And that is crazy. Like, that is actually crazy to me. Because yes, you gotta stick to something. It's gonna be tough as AF. Okay, it's gonna be very, very hard. Gotta stick to it for a long enough time. But if you're not even doing the right things along the time, in those 6 months, 7, a year, 2 years, if you're not doing the right things, you're still not gonna end up where you want to end up. Those things just don't lead to your goal. So if you have been doing this for a couple months and you feel like you're not moving forward, first of all, let me start by telling you that this is fucking normal and this is what you got to deal with. Second of all, you're probably not doing the right things. And I can show you how I always reach my goals. Guaranteed. By calculating everything and being very intentional about what exactly it is that I do. And I'm going to show you an example right now. So this right here is my KPI tracker to calculate my goals. If you have never seen something like this, then yeah, you've definitely been doing something wrong. But I'm going to walk you through this, okay? This is for ads because this is the funnel that I use. It's a funnel that I preach. And in my opinion, one of the best funnels to actually get clients consistently, sign people on every single goddamn week. But if you don't, and I'm going to think you should implement this once you even have a little bit of cash flow. But let's say you don't and you're still doing outreach, I'm going to go over that in a second right here as well. So just a quick explanation, okay? So here are my numbers from a couple of months ago. And I'm going to walk you through that real quick. So basically, this is the amount of money I spent on ads. Let's just say it's $2,500 in a 30-day time period, okay? And I got 750 new followers from that. I DM'd 650 of those because some of them just were not like qualified at all, and some of them just had like the DM option off. So it's only 650. It's actually I'm trying to DM pretty much everybody. I'm not really focusing on who looks qualified and all that stuff, right? So I'm starting up conversations with my followers that I gained through my ads, right? Now, the conversations that I actually get are 260 because not all of these 650 reply. Some of them don't care. They just ghost. Some of them don't see it probably. Now, I have 260 conversations. Out of 260 conversations, I'm able to book around 29 calls. Okay, just like, in those conversations, I just open up a conversation, talk to them, have a genuine conversation, see if they have a problem I can help with, learn more about their business. If they do have a problem I can help with, I ask a couple of qualifying questions to see if I could potentially work with this person. If I do think I can work with him or her and do think I can help this person, then I'm going to book them in for a call. At least I'm going to offer them a call. And then 29 people booked them for a call from 260 conversations, and then 7 of those closed. With an average cash collected retainer price for the first month, and when you actually sign people on, of $2,800, that means I'm making $20K I actually collect $20K cash in a month, right? Now, these are the KPIs that result from that. That means my follower to DM ratio is 86%. My DMs to conversations ratio is 39%. My conversations to calls percentage is 11%. And my calls booked to clients is 25%. So my close rate is 25%, right? Now, all you got to do is kind of just reverse engineer this a little bit. Basically, what is your average price? Let's just say it should be at least 2,000 a month retainers if you're an agency owner. But if we're speaking honestly, bro, some of you guys don't have like solid offer in place yet. So you're still charging below that. Get your offer right. I'm sure I have a video on that. But let's just go out a little bit more. Let's just say we have like an average price of $1,500 a month in retainers, right? Now, in terms of revenue, let's just say your goal is to get to 10K, 20K. Let's just say 10K, okay? Just keep it simple. Or let's just say 50. Let's go in the middle. So your goal is to collect 15K cash in a single month and get to 15K in monthly recurring revenue. So let's say your followers to DMs ratio, let's just freaking copy these numbers, okay? These are my numbers right here. Let's just copy them. Oh shit, you can't do it that way. I might have to type it manually. 86, 40 is about the same, 11 about the same, 25 about the same. Okay, these are my numbers, right? Or let's even go with this followers to DM ratio a little bit lower. This is usually the KPI that indicates who is qualified in your audience. Now, I DM everybody. I don't really look at if they're qualified. But let's just even take that number a little bit lower. Let's see, can we do anything lower? Maybe this right here, instead of 40, we could do 35%. And yeah, this is pretty low already. And this is a very low close rate already. I think these numbers are solid. These are actually very low. Like the price is low. The follower to DM ratio is lower than mine. The DMs to conversations percentage is lower than mine. Conversations to calls and calls booked are already pretty low. All right. Now, in this case, we have everything calculated to a T. Like we know now we have to spend exactly $3,116 on ads. Obviously, it's going to be not exactly 88 cents. Like it's not going to be to the cent, but this is pretty accurate. If you have to spend about $3,000 on ads, gain about 2,000 followers, send about 1,000 DMs, get about 360 conversations, book 40 calls from those conversations, and close 10 of those calls at $1,500 a month and get to $15K a month. That's it. Like this is all you gotta do for real. And we could set this number even lower. Like let's say only 30% of your followers are qualified. Now you have to spend $5,000 on ads. Oh no, this is so much money to spend on ads, but you get $15K a month in return. You spend $5,000 once, but you get $15K a month in return. So if you just keep those clients for 3 months, you just made $45,000 with $5K in ad spend, which is crazy. Now your KPIs might differ a little bit, so that's why you gotta track them. That's why you always gotta track your own KPIs. So enter them right here, track your own numbers, know exactly all your percentages. Enter your percentages in a calculator like this. and know exactly what you have to do to get to a certain goal. And this also shows our weekly KPIs. So in a week, you have to spend 1,200 on ads, 800 new followers, this many conversations, this many DMs sent, this many conversations, this many calls closed, which is like 2.3 calls, and collect about 3,500 in revenue in a week, which is very, very doable. Okay, these numbers are realistic because I know because I hit them. I hit way more actually when I spent, because my price is higher, my KPIs are a little better. So when I spend 5K, I'm probably gonna make more like 20K back at least. So this is for running ads. Now I know that some of you guys are still like more in the early phases of your agency. You're still doing outreach. Trust me, if you're below a couple $1,000 a month, if you have some cash flow, switch to an ads funnel. Switch to the exact ads funnel that I show on my channel and use it, which is like the Instagram ad funnel, the personal brand ad funnel, whatever you want to call it. Use that, trust me. But let's just say you are still sending outreach. Now it's a very, very similar process. All you got to do is this. It looks very, very similar because it's almost the same. Now, we leave a couple of metrics out. We only focus on how many DMs have you sent. Calculate, track that shit. If you don't track how many DMs you send, how many conversations you get out of it, how many responses, how many calls you book, and how many calls you close, you're never going to be able to set goals predictably. Then you will set that 50K, 30K, 20, 10K a month goal and never get there and don't know why the fuck you haven't gotten there in freaking 6 months yet or a year yet, which is fine. Okay, it's fine if you haven't gotten there yet. But if you would have implemented this kind of a thing and calculated everything, then you probably would have gotten there already because you calculate your inputs exactly and know exactly what you have to do to get your goal with just simple math. Okay, so let's just say you send 1,000 DMs, get like 100 conversations out of those. You book like 10 calls from those conversations. You only close like 2 or 3 of them because you're terrible at sales. Let me even do like 2, which is like even worse. And let's just say the cash you generate out of those 2 closes is like $4,000 because you only have an average price of 2K a month. So that means that you have a DMs to conversation ratio of 10%, DMs to conversation to calls ratio of 10%, and then a closing rate of 20%. All of these numbers are pretty terrible in my opinion. But now we just copy these numbers over. So we just change this to 10% and change the close rate to only 20%, which is actually terrible. But now you set your goal to, again, let's set it to 15K. Set your average price to only 1,500. Please change that if it's the case. But now in this case, which these numbers are horrendous. Okay, these numbers are horrendous. But if you have these numbers right here, to get to 15K a month in monthly recurring revenue, you have to send 5,000 DMs, get 500 conversations, book 50 of those in for a call, close 10 of those at 1,500, get to 15K. That's actually that simple. Now you can track this down to weekly KPIs. And what I recommend you to do is to actually break this down into daily KPIs. Let's just say you want to get this goal in the next 3 months. You just have to divide 5,000 DMs by 90 days. Oops, my bad. Don't want to have that minus. Okay, 90 days. That should be about 50 DMs a day for 3 months straight. And this is possible, man. It's actually not that crazy. But every single day, that's a thing where people mess up. They're doing this every single day without missing a day, because if you miss one, these things don't track. But this is to get to 15K. Now obviously these KPIs are not that great, but these KPIs could be worse if you have the worst outreach message on planet Earth. So the input, so the very input at the bottom, the actual message has to be solid as well. It has to be solid. If it's better than this, then you get way better KPIs. I mean, I don't want to expose my guy, but hold on. So I just had to pull that real quick. But these are the KPIs of one of my guys that I'm working with. And we are using Loom outreach. So we are using higher quality personalized outreach instead of just low quality mass outreach DMs. So we're sending Looms. And he sent like 44 Looms in total, right? In 2 months, which you can do way more than that, is just what I'm going to say here. But he that's the amount he sent. Okay, that's the amount he sent. You got 68% conversations out of those DMs. So I actually sent 44 and got freaking 30 conversations, which is crazy. Like in February, you got the 93% reply rate on cold outreach, by the way, which is insane. But yeah, then he took 6 calls. No, he took, what is that? He took 8 calls. I don't know why March isn't tracked yet. But he took 8 calls from those. He actually booked 8 calls from 30 conversations, which is pretty solid. Like it's almost 30% call book ratio. Actually very solid. And he closed 4 of those. So he has a 50% close rate. Now I don't know how much cash exactly this is. It's like some kind of weird currency. But this should be about 3 to 4K in monthly recurring revenue right there, because his prices are not that crazy high. But this is if you have these KPIs, which you can achieve if you let me help you, because I scripted those limits off for him and that message off for him. But yeah, then if you have those KPIs, these numbers will be way better. I mean that's crazy. DMs to conversations, what did he have? He had like a 70%. He had a conversation to calls like a 40%. He had a call booked to clients 50%. He had a average price of I think only $1,000 or something. That means he only has to send 107 messages literally to get to 15K a month. Now you can't do it. He didn't yet. Oh no. But you can do it if he can if he wants to. Now I think there'll be a lot of service delivery for one starting from zero, because he started from zero, and that's the reason why he's probably not doing it right now. But it is possible. So there you have it. If you want to scale your agency predictably, just use something called mathematics. Trust me, it'll serve you right. If you want this KPI tracker here, by the way, just DM me on Instagram. I don't know, DM me with the word KPI tracker or something, and I will know what it is, and I'll send it over to you. But I think one last thought, like besides this whole math stuff, I think everybody can just put in some numbers there and calculate that stuff. And it is very important to do it. But you know what's more important? To actually follow that shit. Like if you don't do the inputs even after you've calculated it, you're still gonna fail, obviously. Now, at least in my humble opinion, it's way easier to follow these inputs when you have the end goal and you have it broken down so much to know that what you're doing right now is leading to your goal, and you know exactly how that is happening, because you have all the percentages. If the percentages change, you gotta adjust it, and then you know your new inputs. But this is just math, man. Like if you follow this, you're gonna be at your goal. But don't pivot after 6 months. Okay, what I mentioned in the start, it really meant that. Like, don't pivot after 6 months. It's gonna be tough. There's gonna be like moments where you doubt everything. Even if you have it laid out in numbers, you're still gonna doubt it. So yeah, that's it. Like, don't compare yourself to others either. You don't know what circumstances other people had. I don't know what circumstances you have. I certainly know I have other circumstances than other people's. Now, I certainly don't want to compare myself to anybody else. That'd be unfair for them. So I'm not gonna do that. You shouldn't do it either. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.